On this episode of News 12 Overtime, the long road back for Brandon Serrano. We'll introduce you to this college basketball player and his arduous journey to return to the hardwood. Danny Landberg rebuilt the Erasmus Hall football program, now among the best in the city. We'll tell you how the recruitment of star running back Curtis Samuel has helped serve not only the player, but also the coach. And she won gold for Puerto Rico. Now a former high school basketball star returns to her roots to coach the next generation. Thank you for joining us for our 2014 episode of News 12 Overtime. I'm Pat O'Keefe. Over the next half hour, we bring you stories of triumph and tragedy, a special relationship between coach and player on the football field, and on the basketball court for one Bronx star, it turns out you can go home again. But first, the story of Brandon Serrano. He was a hotshot basketball player in high school with dreams of playing Division I ball and perhaps beyond. He could shoot, dribble, jump, rebound, do just about anything on the court. But beyond all that, at age 24, Brandon is learning his greatest skill, perseverance. He shares with us the story of his long road back. Alone in an empty gym, Brandon Serrano is surrounded only by the pounding of a basketball and his thoughts. Thoughts of where his basketball career might be, if only. Thoughts of what lies ahead for him. Thoughts of not one but two fateful days that altered his life on and off the court. For Brandon, growing up, it was always about basketball.
Summers to me were you pack a bag, you play basketball, you go in the gym, you work out. You go on an AAU trip, you come back, you work out. You go to AAU trip, you come back, you work out. And I loved that.
And he was pretty good at it, too.
He loved the game. He always wanted to get better. He always wanted to be in the gym.
He could step out and shoot the three. He could take you off the bounce.
Rob Pavanelli was Brandon's coach at St. Dominic's High School in Oyster Bay, a Long Island powerhouse where Brandon managed to crack the starting five as a sophomore. What are the long-term goals for you at that point, basketball-wise?
I figured I always thought at this moment I'd be a pro. I thought I would be, Division I program, and then hopefully becoming a pro.
I think a lot of the locals would have really loved him. The Stony Brooks, the Manhattans, the Ionas, the St. Francis's.
Brandon was getting set for his junior season when
he had a ball in his hand, dribbling across the street. Didn't see the blind side of a vehicle.
He got hit and was flipped over the car, and the leg was broken in several places. His shoulder was broken.
His junior year of high school, the upcoming basketball season, his ability to walk, they were all gone.
Why does this have to happen to me? That's what kept going through my head. I was like, I'm a good kid, I did everything right.
But he was determined to get back on the court, rehabbing his broken leg and other injuries, hoping first to walk and then play again. Serrano did return to the court for his senior season, but he was no longer the Division I prospect he had been.
He went from being, elbows above the rim to, to really struggling to dunk the basketball.
2 years after the first accident, fate struck again, reported on News 12 Long Island.
2 sneakers, a red hat, and a bloody patch. The white Mercedes took off towards the city. The driver was arrested in Queens for DWI.
Altercation has started in the pool hall, so I decided to leave. As I'm leaving, we get in the car, and then we're leaving. And then you see like a white Benz just coming straight at us, and then there's a loud bang, and then you pass out. And then don't really remember much after that. I remember waking up in the hospital.
The drunk driver would be sentenced to 5 years in prison. Brandon, who had turned 18 the day before, was a passenger in the vehicle that was hit. His injuries were severe.
You ready? I have a plate in my forearm from here to here. I fractured my hip, and then I had a metal rod from my knee to my ankle on my right leg, and then I had a cast on my left leg.
Brandon faced another lengthy rehab, this one even more painful than the one in high school. At this point, when you're beginning your rehab process, is a college basketball career still a goal of yours?
No. Me walking was a goal. Like, me putting my foot down and not feeling pain was a goal, not basketball.
6 months after the accident, Brandon took his first step. 6 months after that, he realized he had to get on with his life, so he went out and got a job with Nestle, packing ice cream in local stores. At 19 years old, though, he knew he wanted something more. He enrolled at Nassau Community College. He spent his first year there taking classes and then decided to give basketball a try again. Slowly, some of the skills started to return, and suddenly, just being back on the court wasn't enough.
No, I've never been satisfied with just coming back. You just always want more. Shoot, to be honest, I probably thought I was a D1 prospect for a little bit. And then, the reality sunk in.
After Nassau, he continued his career at Division III Purchase College, where once again, adversity struck. A torn meniscus in his knee in preseason. What were you thinking?
I can't win. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. I've always said that about my life.
Brandon ultimately made it onto the court for Purchase, but after one season, he was on the move again, this time to Riverdale in the College of Mount St. Vincent. He had to sit out the next year to get his grades up, which tempered expectations.
We were expecting him to be a guy that can bring some toughness to our team, a rebounder and a shot blocker, which we really haven't had.
Brandon's debut with Mount St. Vincent was eye-opening. In a win over Centenary College, he played 37 minutes and scored 30 points with 12 rebounds.
It's about time. That's what it felt like. It was just a culmination of all the hard work and all the hours spent in the gym.
2 weeks into the season, another milestone. His first Division I college game as the Dolphins played St. Francis of Brooklyn. Despite the loss, Serrano led the team in scoring again with 14 points. 8 years after he was a Division I prospect, Brandon finally proved he belonged on a Division I court.
First half, I think I proved that I could actually play with them. I don't consider myself a D3 player. I'm there for a reason. I'm there. That's what I'm supposed to be. So I think I played well against them. I think I earned some respect.
Brandon's play also earned him a spot on the All-Conference second team. Mount St. Vincent struggled, just 8 wins in 25 games, but Brandon was the leading scorer and rebounder, proving that after not only 1 but 2 horrific accidents, he was still a darn good college player.
Does your mind ever drift back to the Division I career that you could have had?
No, I don't think it woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm here for a reason. I'm alive. I need to be happy that I'm alive. It didn't happen. I would have liked to see where my life could have led playing at those schools, but for right now, I'm just trying to make my best at Mount St. Vincent.
Brandon Serrano is on track to graduate from Mount St. Vincent with a degree in business in May. He still has 1 year of basketball eligibility remaining and is weighing his options about whether he wants to return as a grad student and play 1 more year for the Dolphins. Coming up, the former basketball star from John F. Kennedy High School who has returned home to lead the next generation to success on and off the court. But first, a Brooklyn player's recruitment to the highest level of college football has a hint of destiny to it. We'll tell you why coming up.